In the almost global lockdown that we're currently suffering, many squash players are suffering withdrawal-like symptoms, and Instagram and Twitter are full of ideas, skill challenges, ghosting things for people to try at home. And whilst the reason for this enforced break is both scary and worrying, we should see this as an opportunity to work on things that we normally neglect or even completely ignore when it comes to training. Now, there's a misconception among amateur sports fans or sports players that unless the training finishes with you sweating or you're absolutely tired, it hasn't been useful. And that's not true. So I'm going to show you 5 things that you should be doing at home during the lockdown that you probably aren't. Now, I'm not a fitness expert, so I will be linking to videos on YouTube for people better qualified than I to show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'll show you some clips up here, but the links will be in the text description. Number 1, flexibility. Now, flexibility is very different from stretching before a match or after a match. Stretching before a match, you're trying to stop yourself from becoming injured, and you're also doing your best to perform to your maximum level. Stretching after a match is to help with the recovery and again to stop the chances of injuries occurring. Flexibility is actually probably the easiest thing from my list of 5 for you to do. All you need to do is you need to increase your body temperature, which could simply be standing in your sitting room and jogging on the spot for about 5 minutes until your body's warm, and then doing some stretching. Now you can see the videos that I've got here. If you live in a warm country or a hot country, you might not even need to do any preparation. You can just get down and you can start stretching. Now, squash players need to stretch their calves, the back of their lower legs, their hamstrings, the back of their thighs, and their lower back. That is the areas where squash players, when they're reaching forward, that's what we really need to stretch. And one weak link in that chain, and you should always think of your body as a chain when it comes to stretching and strength, one weak link and the whole chain is weak. So you need to make sure that you're not too tight in your lower back so that you can't reach those balls, or maybe you're too tight in your hamstrings. So check out those videos. Of course, feel free to look at any others, but those are the ones that I've had a look at and I think that they're pretty useful for you. So that's the first one, flexibility. Number 2, balance. Now, when you see somebody doing balancing exercises, you probably look and think, wow, that's pretty easy. But many times it's not as easy as you think. Now, being able to balance yourself means that when you get to the ball, you're better able to hit the shot that you want. And a good example of that is often people keep moving after they've hit the ball. Some of that is to do with strength, but some of it's to do with how well they're balanced. So check out these videos, see which one interests you, and like all the videos I'm going to link to and show you, you need to find one that sort of resonates with you, one that you think, oh, I like that presentation style, or I like the way that is being presented, or that particular exercise. There's no perfect videos for any type of activity, so you just need to try and find somebody who you like presents in the way that you want them to present. So balancing is underappreciated. I would love if everybody had a Swiss ball. Swiss ball is my go-to exercise equipment. I think it's fantastic, and there's hundreds of exercises you can do. But if you don't have a Swiss ball, or an exercise ball as many people call it, don't worry, there's still plenty of things you can do. Now, some of the exercises in some of those videos, they require some foam or even a Swiss ball. You just need to ignore those. But you might be able to use a cushion. A cushion provides some instability, which is where the balance benefit comes from. You have to make small little adjustments, a little bit like when you first learn to ride a bike. You're like this, but then as time goes on, you become much more able to do that. Now, I would recommend probably doing balance every single day. I'd probably recommend flexibility. Forgot to say that. Flexibility should probably be done every single day if you've got time. These balance exercises only need to take 10 or 15 minutes. You don't have to do the whole set. You don't have to do every single exercise. Just have to choose ones that you're not very good at and that you think will give you the benefit. So that was the balance. Core stability. Now, core stability is very closely linked to balance. There's a lot of exercises where you can't do the balancing exercise if you don't have core stability. But it is different as well, because there's a lot of shots that you play in squash that require hip and core stability strength. And most amateur players don't realise how much that affects how well they hit the ball. If you had to walk around like a robot and just swing your arm and maybe your shoulders, you wouldn't be able to hit the ball very well. The power comes from the hips and the core. So doing core stability exercises will be really beneficial for your squash and also for your general living, because, you know, if you have a strong back, that's really important as well. Now, I'd probably recommend doing these every other day or every third day, but, you know, see what the video says. If, say, some of those exercises can be done every day, great. I don't want you to over-exercise. It can be quite easy that now that you're not maybe going to work, or you're not going to college or university or studying somewhere, that you've got all of this time, that you think, oh, suddenly I can start doing all of these exercises. I mean, if you're a little bit older, that's definitely something you need to worry about. If you're younger, maybe not. But if you're not one of the younger ones, don't think that all of this time you should be exercising all of the time, because that's not so good as well. Do it every other day, every third day, and when you begin to feel more comfortable, maybe increase it to every other day if you've done every third day, and every day if you've done every other day. So just be sensible about it. Don't suddenly go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Take your time, build up slowly. The fourth one is visualization. Now, I have made a video for this before. You can see it there, but the link is up here. Link is also in the text description. Now, out of all of the exercises I'm going to talk about today, or things to do, visualization is probably the one that looks the easiest. You're sitting in a comfortable chair. You've got your eyes closed. You're breathing deeply. Wow, how hard can that be? Well, that process is actually very easy. But the process inside your head is a lot harder than it seems. Now, visualization or mental imagery or mental rehearsal is basically seeing yourself doing the activity that you want. It's not just a case of seeing yourself play squash, although that would be good. It's a case of seeing yourself playing the right shot where you would normally play the wrong shot. Rushing to the front where you would normally go for a winner. Oh, you hit one of these beautiful lobs. If you can't control it completely in your head, then you can't control it in the real situation. Now, it might also be controlling your anger when the marker gives you a terrible call and your opponent is laughing, knowing that that was the worst call ever. Maybe you get really angry in those cases and then you lose the next 3 or 4 points. You can stop that from happening by doing visualization techniques. Or maybe you see yourself being calm and confident where you're normally nervous. Plenty of different things that you can do. The video that I link to is the beginner's guide. I guide you through it. And as you become better at it, as you become more accustomed to doing it, you don't need anybody to guide you. You can do it alone. A bit like all exercise. First time you go to a yoga class or some kind of training class, there's somebody there to show you how to do it, to make sure that you're doing the right thing. Well, that's the same with this. I'm going to show you how to do the first one, and it's a very gradual process. Now, you could do this for 5 minutes every day. And before you say to me, Philip, 5 minutes is a waste of time. Don't say that until you've done it. 5 minutes every day is a lot of time for mental training, and it's more than you've ever done before probably, and it really will pay dividends. Without doubt, this is the most underrated training concept regime that people don't use. It is fantastic, and you only need to look on the internet to see lots and lots of research that proves that it really, really works. So that was a visualization. Number 5 is shadow swinging. Now, ghosting is moving around, and swinging, of course, moving around the court or moving around the garden or the field or the beach and pretending to hit the squash ball. Shadow swinging is that idea, but just with your technique. Now, if you're learning how to keep your wrist firm, or you're learning how to do something a little bit different, then shadow swinging can be really useful for you. I link to a video up here. It seems like this video is about me promoting all my previous videos, but I've already made this video because I really believe it works, and I show you how to do it. And you can see me here doing some shadow swinging in the garden. And in fact, in this case, I'm working on delaying and then bringing my wrist through at the last possible moment, so to confuse my opponent. It's a great exercise. It can even be used for a fitness exercise. If you're doing high shots, really works your shoulders. So that's shadow ghosting. You could probably do it indoors. Make sure the ceiling's high and you're not going to hit the lights. You need a racket though. You can't really do this without a racket. So that's important, and that's called shadow swinging. Highly recommend that if you're working on a new technique, or you just want to, pretend that you're hitting the ball, because it's a great thing to do. Okay, just a couple of bonus ones, because most of the stuff that you see on Instagram and Twitter is about the skills challenge, hitting the ball through the toilet roll cardboard hole, and they're all fun. And then there's lots of ghosting ones. Now, what if you don't have enough space to do a whole ghosting routine? Is there something you can do? Well, yes, there is. This is me in my garden again. And basically, I'm only going to one side. Now, I'm only going to one side partly because my hip is just killing me at the moment, really hurting. And also because I'm imagining I've only got a small space. You can just go from one side, pretend to get back to the tee, go to the other side. Hit low, hit medium, hit high. Do 60 of those as fast as you can, swinging hard as well if you want to. Then take a 10 to 15 second break, and then do it 6 times. That's 1 mega set. If you feel strong after that, do another mega set, or even another mega set. 3 mega sets of those will be really, really hard work. 18 minutes, about a 20-minute workout by the time you include the breaks. Now, between each mega set, you can give yourself a minute break. Take a quick sip of water if you want to. So even with a very small space, you can do some kind of ghosting. Now, I only showed the backhand because I can only do the backhand, but you could do both sides as well if you want. If you can go from side to side, perfect. Do that. That's even better because there's a twist involved. And the last bonus one is, if you want to hit the ball against the wall somewhere and you do have a wall, then you can do that. You don't need anything complicated. You don't need to worry about any particular exercise. Just stand in front of the wall, just a little bit more than an arm and a racket length away from the wall, and just hit forehand and backhands. That's all you need to do. Here's me in the garden, and then here's me in the garage downstairs where we park our cars. So you don't have to be outside. You can, if you've got a house, you can do it inside. Don't think that you need to do lots of different exercises. Just this one will be enough. And do this for 10 minutes. Wow, it'll really work your forearm. It's great for your reactions. You'll be hitting all sorts of shots, and it's great for your ability to watch the ball. So simple. You can do something simple even in your house, and it will still benefit you. So those are my 7 ideas for you. The last 2 were really just little bonus ones. Now, of course, as always, if you've got any questions about anything that's in this video, then please leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer it as quickly as possible. This is a button for subscribing. If you think my content is useful, please consider doing that. This is a playlist of all of the mental aspects of squash videos that I've got. That should be interesting. This is a video that YouTube thinks will be interesting for you based on what you've been watching. And of course, remember, do something every single day to improve your squash. See ya.